Hello, Stephen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm meeting with you today because Dr. Khalik wanted me to talk to you about the questionnaire you filled out at your last visit.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Audrey. I'm one of the social workers here at this office,
Okay.
and I'm just going to go over this brief screening with you if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to start by asking you some of the questions that you had answered and make sure everything is correct and accurate.
All right.
Okay, so here it says you often drink alcohol about 3 or 4 times per week.
Yes.
Okay, so is it closer to 3 or more?
I'd say more.
More, okay. So what does one drink look like for you?
Just some beer.
Beer? Okay, so like one beer then?
Yeah.
Okay, what kind do you usually drink?
Bud Light.
Okay. Does the amount you drink depend on your stress level?
Yes, depends on how my day is going at work.
Okay. Do you feel stressed a lot? Do you have good days at work more or bad days?
Depends on how my day is going,
Okay. And you said that on average you have at least one occasion where you're drinking at least 5 or more drinks a month?
Right.
Okay. Is this another event related to long days at work or stress?
A little bit of both.
Both? Okay. Do you think it's like a social gathering, or do you think you often drink alone?
Mainly alone.
Mainly alone? Okay. And what do those nights usually look like for you?
Just in the garage, messing with my bikes, my cars, and just drink a few beers, listen to music, relax.
Okay. It says here that at least once a month you have failed to do something that you were supposed to do. What does that consist of?
Um,
Like calling into work?
yeah, depends on, how, calling to work, not really want to go to work and stuff like that.
Yeah. So what is it that keeps you from getting these things done? Like what would make you call into work after having a night of drinking?
Just not want to deal with what I got going on at work, knowing it's going to be repetitive of another day of, probably stress for me.
Okay, I understand that. And so you've never needed like a drink first thing in the morning or
No.
no? Okay. And it says here that you sometimes um, have regrets after drinking.
Yes, maybe drinking too much, um, it just gets me in a certain mood after you drink.
Yeah. So what are your regrets about drinking? Is it guilt or shame or
A little bit of both, just, drink too much, um, trying to do better, but, overcome, you still in the end, you still drink.
yeah? Okay, so here it says you do have at least one blackout a month.
Yeah, I'll say that's about right.
So is it, you just don't remember things, or you are told by people that you did things that you don't think that you did?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I just don't remember after a long night of drinking. It's just don't remember some things that I've done that other people say that I've done.
Right. So here it says you haven't had any accidents or injuries to yourself or anyone else from your drinking, right?
Right.
Okay. Have you ever had anyone ask you to slow down or stop your drinking?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Who would that be?
People that care about me. Some friends at work. See after a long day of drinking at night, come to work in the morning. A little sluggish and don't want to be there.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to do a breakdown of what these numbers mean, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so mainly what we look at is whether or not your alcohol use puts you in a high risk category.
Mhm.
So currently, you are at about a 16, which does put you in a high risk category for some health consequences relating to your alcohol use.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What do you like about drinking?
Makes me happy, gets me away from, stuff that I have to do the next day at work, um, dealing with things, get away for a little while.
Okay. And what are the bad sides to drinking? What would you say?
Um, Staying up, majority of the night drinking, drinking a little more than I want to,
Do you feel like, you know, headaches, or do you just feel tired, or how does it make you feel most of the time after?
after, fall asleep and wake up in the morning, just feel real tired. Don't want to go to work, you know, just mainly real tired. And,
Has this, um, has your drinking caused any issues within like your family or partner or friends?
yes, there's been times where, my partner, doesn't like it, and I still, in the end, go behind her back sometimes and lie
Right.
to her, and still do, drink,
Okay. Here it says you've been drinking this way for about 6 months.
yeah, or longer.
Okay. What would longer, like 6 months to a year?
Yeah, I'll say about that.
Okay. And what do you think started that?
Just stress and one thing leads to another.
How did you
Just
deal with stress prior to this 6 months to a year?
I'll just be coping with working on my cars and on my motorcycles, and we'll just go out there in the garage, and then one thing lead after another. See my buddies drink, and I picked up after them, and then
It just kind of escalated
it
from there.
it escalated.
Okay, so our job is just to try and keep you as healthy as possible. We don't want you having any physical effects later on down the road that could, you know, damage your body, your organs, or anything from your alcohol use.
Right.
So, what I'm thinking is we should start a like little set of goals or a plan that you could utilize whenever you're feeling like you're going to drink or knowing you're going to drink, that maybe we could do to prevent you from drinking as much.
Okay.
So let's just say, you know, if you usually drink 3 to 4 times a week, and it's usually attributed to stress, how do you think we could limit your stress throughout the week? You know,
I'd say by just go and do things that I really love around people that I love. I mainly want do that, drink with them around,
hmm
have them or more around. People that truly care about me. Keep my mind off of it.
okay.
Definitely.
So we just need to activate that support system a little
Right.
bit more. Okay. And now, if you're drinking or in your garage one night working on your cars and you've already had a few drinks and someone calls you and they
hmm
need something, would you go? Would you drive after you've been drinking?
No, I don't think I would drive. I
Okay.
have been in the past, and
Okay. Well, that's good because you said you didn't have any accidents or injuries to you or
right,
anyone else. We just don't want that to happen.
right,
Um, so I'm gonna make up a little plan for you on how we can help activate that support system and find other ways for you to decompress and relax throughout the week that you can realistically cut down on your drinking without too much of an expectation on you.
right.
But do you think that's something that you could work on?
Yes, definitely.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready would you say that you're ready to make these changes?
Um, I'll say an eight.
An 8.
There's a little bit of me that don't, and there's my heart that does want to change.
Okay. So, what puts you at an 8 instead of like a 3? What motivates you to want to change or recognize that this is an issue?
Uh, Mainly my family.
Your family? Yeah. I can see that they're really important to you, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get this plan started for you. We're gonna go over everything, and then we'll meet up in about a month and discuss how these uh, plans and goals have been working for you.
Okay.
And if we need to, we can improvise it and see, you know, how you've been doing, and see if we need to make any changes to it or do anything that could help you progress further.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll see you in about a month. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.